You're going to record. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin, right here off the Miracle Mile in Stockton, California. It is now time for the Chase Car Guys.
Hey, welcome everybody to a new show. Tonight is November 13th, the 13th day of November, and we got a doozy of a show orchestrated by my dear friend, Mr. Roy Morales. Don't spell it because I can't. But anyhow, here's the deal. We got Delta College in the house, which is a great place to be. We're going to talk a lot about what they do, what Chase Chevrolet has done with them and coordinated and so on and so forth. But I think you guys are going to be really impressed with these two individuals we have tonight. I got to talk to them before we went on the air. Just great people. You'll enjoy them as well as I have. Now, Mr. Morales, without saying can you please introduce our beautiful guest? Wonderful guest.
Wonderful introduction.
Wonderful.
And this happens to be our episode number 11. Okay. Number 11. Yeah, that's a lucky number for you guys, right?
Lucky
yeah,
11.
Lucky number,
Yes.
11 of the Chase Car Guys show. And tonight's topic is partners in community. And today we have a couple of partners from San Joaquin Delta College. The first one that we have is Tony Espinoza right here to my left. He is the athletic director at San Joaquin Delta College.
All right, thanks for having me.
That sounds like a huge job, and we're gonna talk a lot about that.
Oh yeah, there's a little bit to it. For
Yeah,
sure.
I bet there is.
Yeah.
You're just not another pretty face, right, Tony?
No. Definitely not me.
And then also we have with us today Jessica De La Cruz.
That's
De
right.
La Cruz.
She De La Cruz. She is
nice.
the assistant coach for the Lady Mustang basketball team.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
right?
right.
Do they call them Lady Mustangs, or is it called Women's Mustangs, basically?
Lady Mustangs.
Lady Mustangs?
Or Mustangs.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that, huh? Anyway, and she's actually a coach on the team, so she's going to be able to give us a perspective on the coaching end. And so anyway, what I thought we would do is this. This is a community radio station. You work at a community college. As a matter of fact, just recently you received some great accolades in the newspaper, in print, and it was that San Joaquin Delta College was voted the #1 junior college in California. And I believe in the nation they were like within the top 5 maybe?
Top 5.
Yeah,
Top
because I
5,
think
yeah.
they're number 4, I think.
we were 4. Yeah.
And it was based upon, different criteria. But you know what? That's overwhelming to hear.
Oh, it is.
Right here in our own community.
It is, and it's a collection of things too.
Yes.
I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. Obviously, we're on the athletic side of it,
Right.
but it really is. It's a great place.
Academically, it's good
Yeah,
too. Obviously,
academically, it's solid for sure. A lot of good people, a lot of people that care about the community of Stockton.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And so it really ties right into to our program tonight, partners in community. And it's just great to have an outstanding community college, that our immediate community can attend, And really, one of the criteria that they used was the cost. And Delta College has the lowest cost. I think it was just a little over $1,000 for a full-time student to attend, which is nice to know
Right.
that it's affordable as well,
Yeah. Well, and then in the state of California too, you've got the 2 years. The first 2 years are paid.
Right.
So you've definitely got some options. If you don't qualify for financial aid, you can get your first 2 years of college paid.
Right.
At the junior college level right now. So.
Wow, so
Yeah.
that's some great news.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But we even got better news that's coming down with the athletic department, which we'll get to. But that I just wanted to share that with our audience, because a lot of times I think we take San Joaquin Delta College for granted. And I went there, and it was a good experience for me. And I know a lot of people in the community have attended San Joaquin Delta College, including my boss.
As did I.
At Chase Chevrolet, as did you.
Yes, I did.
And you graduated, and now you're
Sure
working
did,
there.
yep.
How wonderful is that? Let me start. I'll start with you, Tony. I'm going to ask you this. this is a community radio station, and the people that listen to this really want to know a little bit more about us as individuals, you know what I mean? Because we're members in the community, and you know, we just, you guys happen to be working at Delta College. But tell me about this. Tell me your story. Tell me your story from like the beginning, growing up, you know, where you grew up at, and you know, the high schools that you kind of went to. And then tell me about the love for athletics side. Where did that happen along the way, you know, and bringing you to San Joaquin Delta College, and being the athletic director, kind of that path. How did that all happen for you?
Well, shoot, athletics started for me at a young age. Started in Southern California,
Right.
moved to Northern California around the age of 6 or 7 years old to Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's where athletics really started getting going for me.
Right.
My dad's job took us from Southern California to Northern California.
Okay.
Ultimately ended up in Manteca for high school.
Okay.
So that's what brought me to the area, closer to Stockton. So once I got to Manteca, started focusing on basketball, played basketball through high school. Kind of told you my story about how things went after high school. So passed up a chance to go to MJC and then ended up at Stanislaus State.
Right.
So, and then when I ended up at Stanislaus, that's kind of where my tie to Stockton started. I met Eddie Hernandez,
Okay.
who is an assistant basketball coach for our men's program at Delta right now.
Oh, okay.
I met Eddie, so it's been over 20 years now.
Now, did you meet him at Stanislaus State?
I did. We were
Okay.
both students there.
Okay.
He was working at Bear Creek, and I was actually, where was I? No, actually, he was working at Franklin High School in Stockton.
Right.
And I was just starting to work at Sierra High School in Manteca.
Oh, okay.
So this is back in the late 90s.
Late 90s,
And
yeah.
we met, talked, and he ended up moving to Stag. Took a lower level position there, which with Steve Keeter, who eventually became a mentor of mine. And then Eddie and I hooked up, and he said, hey, you know, what do you think about coming down to Stockton and coaching in Stockton instead of coaching in Manteca?
Right.
And I was a little hesitant. I'd never, you know, been to Stockton, hadn't really experienced much of Stockton other than playing against teams from Stockton in high school.
Right.
Played in the summer league at Delta College when I was in high school. So, yeah, that far back. Yeah, believe it or not, she's like, dang, it's been around that long.
It was a barn back then. Okay.
It has. We played. It was split. It was between St. Mary's and Delta. So, so that was my first experience with Stockton. But met Eddie, and I said, you know what? Why not? So, 1999, I took my first coaching position at Stag. So I started as a freshman coach at Stag.
Right.
Non-teacher. Started substituting.
Okay.
Became a teacher, moved up, took the JV position. My mentor I worked for I think 10 years there, Steve Keeter, moved on,
Right.
actually moved over to St. Mary's as an assistant coach, and I took the varsity position there and had the varsity basketball
When did
position.
you take over the varsity?
Oh, shoot. I think 05.
Oh, really? Okay.
06.
Okay.
So
And who was your athletic director there?
Joe Nava.
Joe Nava was,
Joe Nava,
okay.
another legend.
Another legend.
Another legend,
Now,
yes.
did he not go to Delta when he was going to school? Nava.
Joe?
He could have.
He may have.
I
think
did
he
his. I did his for actually through my master's program. I did a bio on.
Yeah.
on
Oh,
him. I
really?
think he did it.
Yeah, I
may
think,
have.
I think he did too.
So took over as varsity head coach. Joe Nava left
Mm-hmm.
and approached me about possibly looking at the athletic director position at Stag. Something I'd never really considered. I thought I was going to be around basketball. I thought, oh, you know, next step, maybe I'll end up at Delta. Maybe I'll
Right.
end up over there with Coach Katz and Coach Ressa. I didn't know. But took the AD position, and that started my,
What year
Administrative
did you take the
position.
AD position at Stag?
oh, man, like, I was there for 12 years as AD. So
Oh,
it was,
were you there for 12 years?
Yeah. So it was probably shortly after I took over the
Right.
varsity basketball
Oh,
position. So I was
wow.
doing both.
Yeah.
I was basically, I mean, it was
You
never,
were-
you were never going home.
You were busy.
I was busy.
going to say.
I was busy. I was living at
It's a
Stag
big
for
job.
sure. And then it just transitioned. I spent my 12 years as AD, stepped away from basketball because I couldn't keep
Right.
up with both.
Right.
And we brought on Ryan Berg, which I think was a great addition for Stag.
Right.
And then I finally contacted Coach Ressa, and I said, you know what? When I step down from AD, I'd like to come over and get back involved in basketball. So I got over to Delta, came in as an adjunct, was still teaching at Stag,
Right.
and then was an assistant for the men's staff for 3 seasons, I think. And then the AD position opened up at Delta.
Right.
And
So
I started as interim.
How did that happen with the AD? You know, when the AD position opened up at Delta, were you approached by Delta College, or did you know about it and say, you know, that's something I might want to pursue?
I knew about it. Coach Ressa talked to me about it and said, hey, you know, you should probably see what happens here.
Right.
So I interviewed for it, and next thing I know, they approached me about the interim position, because I interviewed for the interim position first.
Oh, okay.
So then probably the toughest decision of my career was, do I leave, you know, my tenured position with Stockton Unified?
Right.
I've got seniority. I've got a lot of things going on there.
Yes.
I was almost 20 years there.
Wow.
And take an interim position, not knowing what the future holds.
Right.
And I took the jump, and here I am.
Bing, bada boom.
Yeah.
So
here we are,
the
about-
interim position became permanent.
became permanent. I interviewed again for the permanent position. So it was a stressful 2 years for sure, for me individually. But
Right.
I mean, the people I'm around and the
Right.
group I get to work with,
Right.
a lot of veteran coaches at
Right.
Delta, they've been great. It's been a great experience. Daryl Arroyo was the former athletic director. He's the dean, who I report to. So, I mean,
He's got a lot of experience.
it was a win-win. Yeah. It was definitely a win-win. An opportunity I'm glad I did not pass up.
Right, right.
Because it's opened a lot of doors. I mean, I'm sitting here with you guys on Wednesday
That's
night.
actually a closed door with
no,
us.
no, that's a great thing. I'm talking about the community. I've really fallen in love with the community of Stockton, and just the opportunity to help and to help grow Delta, and
Right.
help the community of Stockton. I think it's a great opportunity.
Hang on just a
Yeah.
second. I want to get Toby here. Toby? You
Toby,
got-
jump on in.
Hey, now did you listen to Tony's, what he just said there, or were you sleeping?
No, I was listening.
How about that? So what I'm going to tell you off of what he just said is, when opportunities come that you're a little leery of, always do them, because you're a good person and you'll do well. And this way, you can't look back and say, geez, I wished I would have done that. So
No,
it worked out
definitely.
for Tony.
I'm glad.
Now you're in your. Are you in the second full year of permanent?
second full year of I just passed 2 full years of combined interim
Right.
and
But
permanent.
when did you take over the permanent position? Was it last year sometime, right?
It was August of
19?
no 8.
18. Oh, no,
Yeah.
no, it has to be 18.
Yeah, it would be 18.
18. So you're.
So
it's
yeah, so
kind
I'm
of
almost a
like-
year and a half.
It's
Yeah,
kind of like you're starting your second year, huh?
pretty much. Yeah, right here.
Okay.
So I'll start when I hit spring. This will be my 3rd spring.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah. Overall, though, I just kind of package it all together now. I've had little over 2 years
Yeah.
at Delta, and it's been great. It really has.
So with the people you knew there, and you took on a job, how much of a learning curve is, or are you still in
Oh,
the
it's
process?
huge. I'm still
It's
in
still-
it.
it's still
I'm
doing it?
still in it. It's if I didn't have the staff that we have, the
Right.
support staff and the coaching staff, I don't think
Yeah, it'd
it,
be too much for one person.
it would. It would, and we've, along with the veteran staff, we've
Right.
got a veteran support staff too, and they've been great.
Right.
I mean, very familiar with Stockton,
Right.
Very familiar with Delta, because
Yeah.
they've been there a long time. So they've helped me tremendously throughout these first 2
You've had
years.
good mentors.
I've had great mentors. I've been really lucky. I mean, ultimately, I've said this before, is when I look back, it's truly the people that are in your life that impact your decisions.
Right.
And if you're around the right people,
people, yeah,
and
good
people
things
say it
are
all the
gonna
time,
happen, yeah.
good things are going to happen. Exactly. And
Exactly.
I really did. I got lucky to be around the right people.
That's wonderful. Well,
so-
we're really excited for you. And Jessica, why don't you tell us your story? Start from the beginning and tell us, as you the schools that you went to, the area that you grew up in, and then how you became involved with athletics and now at Delta College.
Well, I ran from Galt. I graduated from Galt High School, class of '07. going there was a lot of pressure. My dad wanted to actually transfer me to St. Mary's
Oh.
so I can get the looks that he wanted.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
But I didn't want to leave.
So what position did you play?
Point guard, shooting guard,
Point guard, shooting guard. Okay.
natural point. But I decided to stay at Galt. Had a few offers, but when I met Coach Johnson there when I was getting ready to graduate, she had opened her pamphlet and showed me how many people she had moved on to Division I, Division II.
Right.
And I just realized, okay, I have 2, 3 little interests here.
Right.
But if I leave Delta, it can grow to 12, 13, 14 by the time I'm done in 2 years.
Right.
So I ended up playing for Coach Johnson 2 years. First year, we made it Elite 8, lost first round.
Elite 8 in your first year,
Your
huh?
first year.
Now, the Elite 8, would that be a Elite 8 for the California?
California.
Yeah, all of state
Yep.
of California.
Yep.
I think
Wonderful.
back then they took 4 from the south, 4
Mhm.
from the north.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
4 and 4, yeah.
And then my second year, we made it to the state championship, but we ended up losing to Pasadena College, which was heartbreaking. That's kind of why I'm here now, to come back for
Right.
one for Coach Johnson. But after Delta College, the doors open.
Yeah.
Like, we're getting calls all over the state. Coach Johnson helped me with academics. As a student, academic student, when I came into Delta,
Right.
really poor,
Yeah.
which was holding me back from all these offers I can get.
Right.
One thing with Coach Johnson and her program, she's never lost a person at eligibility in her years there
Right.
at Delta. Like, academics was number one. I went from low academics to GPA student, and I think that's what right there sets Delta College all the way around. apart
That's
from
one thing
everybody
I
else.
want young people to listen to. I got one here, and he hears it all the time from us. But how important grade point average
It
is,
is.
if you're inspired to go to a D1 college, even just that.
The first things when I'm out recruiting, the first 2 questions, number 1 is who's in shape. Number 2, do they have grades?
Yeah.
Those are the first 2 questions that are asked
Right.
every time. So I ended up signing a scholarship off to Alaska Anchorage. I played at U of A for a year. I actually redshirted there. There was a lot going on. I wasn't really feeling it, but I stuck it out. And then I went out to Cal State San Bernardino. I finished there. My junior year, we actually made it to the NCAA tournament, but we lost the first round. Yeah, we made it first round.
Wow. What an experience.
And then we lost everybody's second year, and it was kind of a struggle.
Right.
But throughout my whole playing career, the one thing, what led me to coaching is I could never get all the way healthy. There was always an injury. There was
Right.
always something there that would just like hold me back. I couldn't finish the season, or I
Right.
couldn't finish strong. So
Right.
after Cal State San Bernardino, my senior year, I got hurt, and it was career ending in the middle of season. I kind of fell off with everything. I graduated.
Right.
After that, I stepped away from basketball for 2 years, 3 years, and got lost.
Right.
Came back home to Galt, and then got offered to help with the men's varsity,
Really?
and head coach JV over there. I took that for 2 years, turned it around. They didn't win. When we got there, they didn't win a game for 4 years.
Okay.
They were getting smacked around 70 points and scored 92-5.
Right.
You know.
Wow.
So first year, still didn't win a game. Second year, finished 4th in conference out of the 6. So, and then I saw Coach Johnson at the summer league. I had a AAU team, and she said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "Oh, just at Galt High School." She's like, "Well, I have an opening. Do you want to? Let's meet up." All right. We met up at a Starbucks. She told me, "I want you on my staff. I trust you. I believe in you." We went to state together. Let's go again.
Right.
And from there on, I've been here for this is going to be my 4th season, I believe.
4th season.
4th season.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's been great. It's actually been better every year.
Every year.
Every year. I think this year is going to be a great year,
So
too.
your passion is basketball.
It is
You
basketball.
figured it out after the year you laid out?
Yeah.
You said, no, I got to be
I
around
thought I was
it."
going to play forever. Like, my goal, overseas, WNBA, there was no coaching.
Right.
But my coaches always would say to me, "You're going to be a coach." And I'm like, "No, I'm going to play."
Yeah.
But it all works out, and I'm kind of glad it did, because now I get a chance at more than just one ring. I get as a
Right.
coach, you get a
Exactly.
ring
Yeah,
year after
that's
year
right.
after year,
That's right.
So
Well, and it's a
I'm kinda
testament too to Coach Johnson, number one.
Right.
And just hearing the academic side of it.
Right.
But then the recruiting of local athletes. That's the other
Yeah.
part that's
Right.
great. I mean, if you go look at our rosters at Delta right now,
High school.
I mean, I'm guessing, I mean, I could go back and verify, but
Right.
we're close to 80-90% of our rosters across the board
Yeah.
are local athletes.
Local athletes.
And you say local San Joaquin Valley?
San Joaquin
basically?
Valley,
yeah.
for the most part,
Yeah.
yeah, you may get a little bit outside
Sacramento
of
and Merced.
Sacramento, Antioch area a little bit, not too far south, maybe
Right.
Manteca,
Right.
Towards the east a little bit, into
Right.
the hills a
Lot
little
of
bit.
local
Yeah,
kids.
but a lot of local kids and great success stories just like that one right there. I mean,
Right.
people come in, maybe not necessarily ready for a 4-year,
Right.
and academically maybe struggling just a little bit, and they're trying to find a place. Okay, what do I do? Where do I go? And like she said, the number one focus. I mean, you look at our success athletically, yeah, great.
Right.
But what people don't hear a lot about is our academic
Right,
success.
academic success.
And our coaches, again, veteran staff,
Right.
they put academics first, and it's. I love being around it.
Right.
I mean, any little thing that I can assist them with, because they have their system, they already know what they're doing.
Right.
I just kind of find my niche and where I can help, and see if I can help improve anything as we're going through all of it. But I mean, just that story right there kind of tells the story
Right.
of a
Yeah.
lot of the athletes that come
Right,
through our doors,
exactly.
and they move on. They go to a 4-year. A lot of them get their degree, and
You got nurses,
Yeah.
police,
We've got- I mean,
firefighters.
we've got great
And then-
stories
and
that
then
come back.
it's the coaches are, it's kind of a special thing, because you gotta love it,
Yeah.
but man, can you change lives? Can you
Oh.
get lives on the right path?
Yeah.
And those people that you affect, come back to you and say, hey, you know what?
For sure.
You know,
And you just use
were
athletics
the
as
influence,
Yeah.
and you were a positive influence in my life, and the reason why I'm successful today is partly because of your contribution to my life.
and athletics is really just kind of the vehicle that
Right.
you use to get them through. I mean, and along the way, you get them to understand that
Yep.
really the academic piece is what's going to take you farther.
Right.
And we have first generation, kids, first generation college students,
Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna
that
be
are part of
different.
our athletic department. It's going to change their lives and their families'
So
lives.
you've got because you had mentioned that you had a coach that said that they were going to get you over the hump as far as academically. Did they give you some special kind of deal where you could catch up or stay on top of it, or was it just
More study hall hours.
study hall
Study hall hours.
Yeah,
If
that's
you
what
had
to do.
below, if you had a C, you had this many study hall hours. If you had a D or F, oh, you're in study hall
Right.
basically all week. You had
Right.
40 hours of study hall a week or whatever,
So by you going to study hall and being
Study
committed
hall,
to study hall,
tutoring.
your grades began to improve.
Yeah, we got study hall, we got tutoring. There's a tutor center in there.
Right.
We got so many things to pull from. If you didn't have books, they have book access. We call the zone.
Right.
The zone's a place, if you're not doing well in academics, you're living in the zone.
You're living in the
And
zone.
there's someone there to help you every time. If you don't know registration, anything you need help with, which was me. My family didn't go to college.
Right,
you know.
right, right.
How do you register for classes? What does that even mean? What's
Right.
financial
It's
aid?
all
What is all
foreign.
that?
It's all foreign.
And that's what that's why I was so glad I went to junior college, because going up there, university, not having all that, you'd probably be lost. What is
Right.
going on here?
Yeah, so many people come back so disappointed,
Yeah,
and
they
they
come
don't
back,
get a chance to
we call it
recover.
bounce back. Yeah, they go out and they
Yeah.
bounce back because they weren't ready.
Right, exactly.
On the structure too, there is a difference, and I'm preaching about our place,
Right,
but,
right.
there is a difference. The structure is there, and she mentioned the zone. We have a resource specialist in the zone. We have an instructional support aide in the zone. We have tutors in the zone. We
Right.
do have a book exchange program that's available in the zone. Just a lot of areas to help the student athlete succeed.
Right.
So it's
Do you tell when you're, because there's you're always losing local talent to other schools. Maybe a little higher end or whatever. And sometimes they don't succeed because of the grades, and so then they have to refocus. And so in your pitch when you're recruiting, do you use that, because you probably know what their grade point averages are, and what they may expect, especially if they're thinking about going to try out another school, and maybe they won't make it.
Is there a grade point average they have to keep to play sports there?
There is similar to the high school level. Yes,
2.0
it's
would
2.0.
be, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I'll let Jessica talk a little bit about the
Yeah.
the recruiting part.
Yeah.
She's probably
I
done
mean,
a little bit more than I have.
recruiting, I mean, the book, Coach Johnson, open up the pamphlet, it says it for itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Look at the numbers, Google, it says it for
Right,
itself.
right.
You know, there's not really much to say as far as recruiting or whatever,
Yeah.
and stuff, or just look at the statistics.
Yeah.
The numbers don't lie. They're
Right,
there, you know what I mean?
Right.
So as far as that bouncing back is, we don't really tend to get bounce backs for some reason. We like to try to get them out of high school.
Right out of
and,
high
like,
school.
mold them right out of high school, get them ready.
Do you go out into the community? I mean, do you go out to the high schools and recruit at the high school?
Yeah, all the time.
all the time. And then you have a list of players that you're looking at to try to bring,
We
bring
got
to
them
the
right now
program.
starting. Got a couple from Lincoln. Got some at Edison looking at. Got one at Bear
Hey,
Creek
we've got
looking at.
a pretty good hotbed of female basketball players in our local area.
Yeah,
Don't we?
Bear Creek is in there. I
Yeah.
think Lincoln's in there. Edison's in there. Chavez, we
Yeah.
got girls, and same thing this year. We got a couple.
How many
girls.
players you hold on the roster?
Right. This year, I think we started with like, I would say like 16, 17, but they kind of weed themselves out. We're down to
Right.
14.
Right, down
But-
14. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about
And
what you-
that's suited up. So
That's-
then
Yeah.
you've also got the ones that potentially could red shirt or gray shirt.
right.
So
Yeah.
But
our
what's
our
a-
roster size is pretty solid.
What's a
across the
typical
board.
day for somebody who plays basketball? I mean, I know the hockey end at St. Mary's, so but and that's pretty intense. But what is it? So I'm going to play. I'm going to turn into a woman right in front of you, and I'm going to play for you. What would be a typical day for me at school?
All right, so you got class. And usually everybody's at 8 a.m.
Right.
You have to be done with class before, I would say 12:30. So from 8 to 12:30.
Right.
Then you got to find time to eat because we got practice at 12:45. You got to get treatment, you got to get taped, and you got to find time to eat.
Right.
And 12:45, depending on how well practice goes, can go either to 2, and if it doesn't go well, to the small gym, we're going to 3. Then we got weights. If it's weight day, then you got study hall. If it's
You
study
do
hall
weights
day.
how many times a week?
3 times a week.
3 times.
Preseason, and then in season we maintain for twice a week. And then you got your study hall zone hours, of course, that you have to as well get done.
So it's a full day.
It's a full day.
full day.
It's quite a commitment, huh?
It
It
is.
is.
But I mean, compared to the D1 level, I mean D2 level, that commitment is what it's going to take to be successful at that level. If you don't have that commitment now, you're not going to make it.
How are your players? I mean, talk to me about, you've been in the game. I mean, you've been in the coaching end, for the last 4 years. Tell me a little bit about the players you have this year. I mean, the kind of group, what you feel you have, as
Well, they
far-
know each other because they're mostly local.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
Okay,
this
there's
year is
connections.
there's connections a lot more this year because, like I said, they're all from the same area. So
Right.
that part is really well. They hold each other accountable really well.
Uh-huh.
But then I do get the thing where they say, "Oh, we can tell you from Stockton," which I don't really know what that means. I think it's because we're just loud and out there, and
Yeah.
we have like a swagger about us. and,
Right.
we walk in like
Yeah.
Lady Mustangs. We're pretty loud, but at the end of
Right.
the day, like we're sharp. We get nice gear,
Right.
great shoes. We have our own bus.
Yeah.
We get fed well. We get great sponsorships. You
Right.
know what I mean? So there's a lot of things going on. But our group of girls, I mean, they're great. And there's nothing more I can say. I think this is what I told Coach Johnson the other day. I think this is the best group of girls that we've had so far.
Right.
As far as holding them accountable, the little things of being in trouble and stuff like that. Not much this year.
Now, your aspiration is to get them to a D1 if that's what they're after.
If
right?
they're wherever they fit, wherever
Right.
they're going to finish.
Where
But-
they're going to finish, yeah.
I've been to many things for the hockey kids, and what the D1 schools tell us as far as academics is concerned. I mean, there's so many schools out there, obviously, but some, obviously the higher, the more opportunities. I think for them, but for the hockey side of it, if you're not 3.7, 3.8, you're probably going to have to play in a junior team or whatever before a D1 team will look at you. Now, and I only know about hockey, so bear with me on this, but a lot of these D1 schools will sign you, but they put you on a junior team, but they have the rights to you. In other words, if you're going to go to college, you're going there. But they want you to get better. They don't want you to be a bench player. They want you to be able to go out and participate.
Okay.
So is that similar to basketball?
We got one team, and that's it. And you're either on and you're playing, you're a bench warmer, or you're a red shirt or a gray
Right.
shirt, whatever shirt.
But I mean, as far as getting a D1 college, is there any where, in other words, I'm just going to use one, give me a D1 college close by.
UOP.
UOP, okay. If they say, okay, we want this person to come here, however, we don't think they're going to be able to play at our caliber that we want for the first year, is there, they just leave them at Delta and say, get better?
Yep.
And then you come?
Yep.
Okay.
Or they
that-
could shirt also at the
Yeah.
4-year level. They have
Red shirt,
Right.
gray shirt.
they have the option of
Yeah,
red shirting at the 4-year level.
right.
But yeah, it's a little different than what you
What I'm
described
talking
of,
about, yeah,
of
right.
hockey, yeah, because they
Yeah.
don't necessarily have junior teams.
Right.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
the approach is a little bit different, but
Sure.
a lot of our athletes, like we mentioned before, the academics may be a concern, but we do get some that understand that, hey, similar to what Jessica described, I may be able to better my opportunities.
Sure.
You know, maybe I've got an NAIA school that's interested, that's, you know, across the country, or maybe I've got a D3 school that's interested. But if I take this opportunity to go to Delta and compete for Delta for a year or potentially two,
Yeah.
what can that turn into? Maybe I have, and that used to be something we discussed when I was assisting with the men's staff with some of the kids was, okay, hey, you've got 2 or 3 offers right now. What if we could work with you for 2 years? You're in a competitive program. Our conference is one of the top conferences in the state,
Right.
across the board.
Right.
So you come in, you're in a very good conference. It's heavily recruited conference.
Right.
You know, Delta and some of the other schools too.
Right.
Maybe those three options could turn into 6 or 7.
Right.
And it could potentially turn into maybe from an NAIA option to a Division II, Division I option.
Yeah.
But again, we want that, but
Right.
we also stress,
Academics.
Yeah.
we want the degrees. We want
Yeah.
we ultimately we want
Because
the degrees.
as you know, you just said it, you're an injury away from going nowhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I mean,
You got to back it up. You
yeah,
got to have a
you-
plan.
Yeah.
right, you got to have a plan B.
Yeah. And
Plan
we-
A may be your sport or athletic part, but plan B has got to be your academic, because without that, at some point, whether you're injury free, you're going to be.
It's gonna be over.
Yeah, it's going to be over.
No, and
Usually
hopefully
within-
later, that's what we always tell them.
Usually within 10 years of a college.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably pretty much done in any
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah.
So you better have something else to fall back on.
Yeah, for sure.
And you had mentioned Coach Johnson. Now, is she the current head coach at Delta? Okay.
She's been there for what, 20 plus
This
years.
is her 25th season.
25th season. Wow. How awesome is that?
Yeah,
You know?
that's where I say the veteran staff. I mean,
Veteran staff.
a lot of what I'm doing is just kind of I'm just a sponge. I'm
Right,
just taking
right.
in. I mean, there's so much history.
Right. It's not like you have a lot of turnover.
No,
you know,
very
I mean,
little turnover. Our staff, our men's staff, same thing.
Yeah.
Coach Ressa was an longtime assistant for
Right.
Brian Katz, who's now at Sac State. And you know, Coach Ressa's I think approaching, if not at 20 years already
Wow.
at Delta College
Yeah,
too,
got
as part
some
of the
great
men's staff.
experience out there.
So those are just 2 of them. Gary Barlow, our football coach, has been there. I want to say at or close to 20 years.
That's good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Reed Peters,
that's a
baseball.
long
So
time. Yeah.
it helps. It definitely
Solid
helps.
foundation.
Yeah, for sure. And I think our athletes see it too. So you know, we're very lucky to have a
Right,
veteran
right,
staff.
right. Do you feel like you're working under a coach that's got 25 years worth of experience, you know? Are you taking this in because are you filling your toolbox knowing that I'm going to get to the next level with what I'm learning right now? Do you anticipate at some point having your own team, coaching your own team? Is that where you're headed?
When I first got to Coach Johnson, she was getting on to me about getting my master's.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, Coach, I'm not getting my master's. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Now I'm in my 4th season. I'm like, all right, I'm getting my master's because I know, you know.
You're
And
gonna-
then
I
that's what it
understand
takes
what's
to
happening.
be a head coach?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, at Delta College.
Yes,
It does.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes, but not at the
Wow.
Division II level. for
Right.
some reason.
Oh,
When I got
really?
to college, I think Coach Johnson said more. It's like
Yeah.
4
So the
papers
more
or
education you have, better
Mhm.
chance you have.
Yes.
So that's even true in coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, listen out there, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Education is a big deal. It really is. Athletics is the fun part of the education, right?
It really
the
is.
backbone.
It is. It obviously it drives. Athletics is that's gonna be their interest. So you're utilizing that. Like I said before, you're utilizing that to push them
Sure.
academically.
Right.
And then I get one meeting with all the athletes every year. So I've been through 2.5 years of eligibility meetings.
Right.
And that's we have to review the requirements to be eligible. First year athlete, here's what you have to do. Second year athlete, here's what you have to do. We get to go over some of our standards for our department. But it gives me that one time, and I'm hoping they're listening, because sometimes
Make an
they're coming out
impression.
of practice or they're
Right,
coming
right,
from class
right.
and they're sitting with me for an hour and then they're going to practice. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping I got their attention.
Right.
But that's my chance to stress
Right.
that what are you going to do? Put a game plan together.
Yeah.
You know, you talked about building your toolbox. It's
Right.
like just start taking things that you're learning here at Delta
Right.
and putting
Start
them away,
applying 'em.
stashing them,
Yeah.
and getting ready for that, jump to the 4-year, getting your degree.
Yeah.
So
I got a question for Tony. If you, I know you
Yeah,
got
go
a
ahead.
bunch of
No,
stuff,
go
but
right ahead.
I have nothing written down.
Oh,
It's
no,
just
no, it's-
right off the top of my head. But give us a typical day for you. I mean, obviously you go to school, but do you do the same things every day, or just what's a
man.
typical day for you?
I don't know what a typical day for me.
There's nothing. There's
nothing
no typical day for an athletic director.
So
It's
you're not putting out fires all day. A
some
little
days,
bit.
yeah.
Some
But
days, yeah. It's I
you have a
get there.
meeting with all your coaches, that type of thing. Not once
we
a
have
week,
one once
but
a month.
once a month.
We have facility meetings once a week to review what's going on with all our different facilities. But a typical day is, and there's a lot of academic that's involved in
Right.
what I do too.
Right.
Right.
Scheduling. We still have, we offer PE activity classes, PE theory classes, and then all of our athletic classes, and then health education. That's all in our division.
Oh, that's all in your division.
Yeah, so
under- okay.
scheduling of those classes
Oh,
all
I
falls
see. Okay,
in
yeah,
our
yeah,
department.
yeah.
Between myself and the dean,
Right.
we oversee all of that, in
Right.
addition to all the other divisions or not divisions, but
And you're in charge of the athletic
blank.
Departments.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
So do you have meetings, like with the basketball, and say, "Hey, man, you're a little over budget right now. We need to figure out where we're going to trim," or how come you're not? That probably never comes up. How come you're not using your budget?
Yeah. I have a admin assistant that oversees, her main responsibility is eligibility, but Roxanne Noble is like the backbone of our athletic department. She actually oversees our budgeting, helps with ordering, along with a laundry list of other things that she
Right.
does. But yeah, we do have those discussions. So, anything from a couple meetings a day to some game coverage when we have home events. Right now, we have some staff that are out, so my responsibilities have changed.
You're filling in the
It
cracks.
could be setting up a gym. It could be getting ready
Right.
for a tournament.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes, really. I mean, I think that's a good way to look at our department too, because they're all the same approach. If I need help with anything, it's
Right.
like, hey, what do you need us to do? If anybody's out, somebody else is stepping in. So it's we have a
Next
great.
man up.
It really is.
Right, yeah.
We have a great group.
That's good. That's.
I'm,
and it makes you-
I'm lucky to come.
It gets you more bonded too, right?
It does.
Yeah,
It
there's
does.
not-
You have when you have veterans, you have, you've been around each other for so long.
Right.
And you've been through the same things
right.
so many times over
Right.
and over
Right.
again. So you have your occasional, issues that
Well,
come
sure.
up. But and sports is just that way. It's
Right.
everything's going. You're
Next
always
play.
going. Yeah.
Right.
You're always moving.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think issues are going to come up. But
And I did have another question, and this could be for both of you, actually. I don't know how I come up with this stuff. Anyhow,
You're very intelligent.
but parents' problems. Do you have?
Parental problems.
because
Wait
I
a
gotta
minute.
tell you, in my short little career as the president of the local hockey here, every year, it's either at the beginning of the year or late. During the season, not so much, but the coach ain't playing my kids, or how come my kid's not playing, or how come you're not playing my daughter, or whatever it might be, and it's like, it gets overwhelming.
For me, I'll let Jessica
Sure.
kind of add on to this, but for me, it's starting with basketball and continuing into the athletic department. Very little
of that.
and our coaches do a great job of kind of just setting the tone right from the beginning.
Right.
Right.
But there's not, these are adults, so you're not dealing with.
Yeah, you're
the
not
parents.
dealing with minors.
No, you're
yeah,
and you're
right,
and,
right.
and it's and when you do have the programs where the parents are still a little bit trying to stay involved a little
They're
bit.
trying to live
Right.
through their kids' life.
and the message is clear, like
Right.
they're adults now. We'll work with the student athlete.
Right.
Any concerns need to come from the student athlete. So I've watched coaches
Mm-hmm.
kind of deal with some of those concerns, but it's very little. I mean,
Right.
the coaches
That's
get to coach.
Yeah.
And we very
Yeah.
little
And
parent.
how much now you as a coach? This is a good one because I grew up and Roy's close to my age. We grew up in an era where the coaches beat the heck out of you, and not only physically so much, but verbally. And they earned my respect, and they obviously I need a little more beating than most of them because I'm thick-headed. But what I'm saying with today's society, it's like, wow, you got to be kidding me. You're coming to and tell me about a word. And when I grew up, it was sticks and stones may break your bones, and words will never hurt you. Not anymore. So I mean, how do you deal with that on a daily basis? I don't.
It's the culture. You got to set the culture right away. It's all in
Right.
or all out. There's no in between.
Right.
You set the
the
standards. It's a
parameters,
culture thing, If you're not in the culture, you're not in it.
Right.
So it's just, you got to set that
It's
standard.
okay. People don't understand to make these kids stronger. The kid behind me and the rest of them. Sometimes you got to jump on them and say, "Hey, man, are you here to figure this out, or why don't you go sit down over there and look at it for a while?" And then when they do come back and they got to figure it out, then you give them a little pat on the back and say, "Hey, great job, man, you got it," right?
Yeah.
But it's funny how they don't see the end result. They look at, man, that person's hard on my kid.
You got to
know?
have the you've got to gain the respect
Yeah.
of your athletes.
Right,
You
sure.
mentioned that, but you got to have the right people.
Right.
And again, we have the right people.
Right.
So
Yeah.
There's no-
do those issues arise occasionally?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they are dealt with within the individual programs.
Right.
But I think if you have that foundation and you've established that culture, you're going to see very few of those issues, and they're going to be dealt with immediately if need be. But,
Yeah.
But it's
And I would imagine, like you said, they're adults, so it's a little different. I'm in
It is a
more
little
of the
different.
youth end of it.
yeah.
So the parents are a little bit more involved. They still see Johnny going to the major leagues and NHL or NFL or whatever. And, I pay a lot of money for my kid to go to this school. And what do you, that type of thing. So you don't have to really deal with that issue, which is good. They asked me to do one little commercial thing.
Oh,
for
do
them.
it. Throw the commercial
Hey, can you
in.
throw the
Okay,
camera
throw
on
the
this?
camera on. Oh,
Toby?
here we go.
Toby,
You wanna hold it?
It'll
Yeah.
probably click over.
Tony, hey, grab that.
Yeah.
All right.
Right here.
On November 30th, right here in the beautiful Miracle Mile, there's a sip and shop thing for Christmas from 3 to 7 right here. $20 in advance, $25 at the event. Get your tickets. Come here to the Voice of San Joaquin to get your stuff. I think I'm going to make a personal appearance that night. Roy, you?
I went last year and I wouldn't miss it for nothing.
So you'll get to meet Roy and I.
The whole Miracle Mile was jam-packed. It was an absolutely awesome event.
Do you
Yes.
remember any of it?
Sip and no, I don't
You,
remember that much.
you drank and strolled.
I think I fell asleep at Calpine Barbershop.
Oh, yeah.
So Randy put me up there.
Zaragoza.
I'll tell you what, it was a great holiday event. They have Christmas. Everything's about Christmas.
Yeah.
And just full of spirit.
November 30th. Mark that on your
Yeah,
calendar.
yeah.
Alpine
Everybody
Barbershop.
come down. Come
That's-
on down. Get a haircut over at Zaragoza's if you
That
want.
was Joe Gatz's spot, wasn't it? I mean,
Yes,
Joe-
I'm sure that it was.
It was,
Yeah.
Randy's a dear friend. Well,
Dear
was a
friend
dear
of
friend.
I remember going over there a few times and sitting there as Joe's
So
getting
you
his
get your
haircut.
haircut the same place I do. Look
I
at that.
had to, I gave up haircuts a while back. No, Joe, I remember sitting there a couple times with Joe as he
Yeah.
was getting his haircut and we were reviewing Stag.
Those were interesting conversations.
Oh, always,
Yeah.
always. I miss that guy for sure. That was, but that was my experience with Zaragoza.
Yeah.
great guy.
He's a good, that barbershop brings you back about 30 years.
Oh, right when you walk in.
Exactly.
Right when you walk in, I
They
love
got
it.
some-
Yeah.
They got some, okay, we're down to 2 minutes, Rob. I'm gonna throw it back to you to do whatever
Yes.
we're gonna do. and
Last
then
thing
I'll
that I
shut
want
it
to
down.
say, this
Go ahead.
was Partners in Community, and the one thing that I wanted to do was I just wanted to give us a quick breakdown on the athletic complex. This year, you took on a huge responsibility.
We
I knew
did.
you couldn't do it in year one because you were just getting used to the program.
Yeah.
But you came up with an idea that Chase Chevrolet was able to support. Tell us a little bit about
Chase
that,
has been a huge supporter of the, and it really was just an idea initially, and we came up with community through unity, and throughout all of our athletic complexes now, in support, it's supported by local businesses.
Right.
Number one being Chase Chevrolet. We have now, for the first time, established a solid support group, through the community.
Right.
And we have 5 sponsors.
Right.
We have, it's now our athletic complex has been renamed. It's now the Chase Chevrolet Athletic Complex.
Right, I've seen all the signs, all the
which-
banners. If you haven't seen it out there, community, you need to stop by and see
Oh,
it
you got to
because
come by.
It's amazing signage and
It
from all
is.
the sponsors. You know.
Mr. Ferriola has been huge in supporting, and obviously, you and Chip have been great. But just the program we put together, it really was from the ground up.
Right.
Susie Cruz, who runs Edge Nutrition right here on the Miracle Mile,
Right.
it was her and I.
Oh,
And-
really?
and
Okay, Susie was
And
involved with that.
for I don't know, 8 to 10 months it took us
Wow.
to establish everything.
Yeah.
Revamp Signs, who's another one of our
Right,
sponsors,
Revamp,
did
yeah.
all the signage. Assisted with the
yeah.
windscreen. Lavati, or Lavoti,
Yeah.
is
Victory Grill.
Victory Grill is our 5th.
Right.
So it's big. It's
You know
big.
what-
It's
but
it's
you know
really
what's-
big for
what's
us.
cool about it is we've never had one of those. We haven't had that community signage.
No, and
before. So now when you go out, you'll see the community signage.
Oh, and I can't
out there,
forget
which is
Bump Box.
Oh, yeah.
Bump Box
Bump Box
is our last
exactly.
is our other sponsor, and Bump Box has been big. They're out with all of our teams right now. Every team's got a Bump Box.
Well, you've done a wonderful job on the signs, and I encourage everybody to go out to Delta College and watch a sporting event.
Last comments.
Last comment for you, Jessica?
Next
Follow
home
Delta
game.
Women's Basketball.
Let's
We're
go.
going all the way. Next.
Tony, one last shout out to something, or?
Well, we've got playoff games coming up, so
Yeah.
so check out our website.
One last shout out
Yes.
for Delta College is soccer, women's soccer.
Yeah.
Yes, women's
Women's
soccer
soccer.
undefeated,
Undefeated.
playing Friday to complete their
What
undefeated.
time Friday? Quick.
Friday at 3 o'clock.
3
o'clock.
3 o'clock kickoff for them.
Ah.
12 o'clock is men's.
What a season they've had.
We'll be back on.
Can we have some Christmas music?
Hang on a
In the
second.
background, Zip and Stroll, don't forget. On the Miracle Mile.
I think he already started.
Yeah, we're closing it down
I'm
here.
giving out
So,
signatures.
thank you, Toby
Chase Car
and
Guy.
Betty, for being on the board. We will not be doing the show the night before Thanksgiving. Roy and I are going to take the night off to be with our families. We will be back in this, I believe it's December 9th. We'll stay posted on Facebook to let you guys know. We want to thank our guests for coming. We'll see you in December, but don't forget, come out and say hello to Roy and I and the rest of the people here at the Voice of San Joaquin.
Voice of San Joaquin, #1.
November 30th, 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock on the Miracle Mile. See you then. Have a good evening. Thank you, folks.
All right, thank you guys.
Delta College rocks.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
That was fun.